Welcome back to Training Block 17. So I know yesterday we talked about how we're going to change the training up to 3 days a week and more of a high intensity program. But I had a reality check yesterday whenever I was pulling the pin on the leg press to change the position of the seat, which isn't a loaded pin. It's just a spring loaded pin, which there's no resistance. Something in my wrist popped. And now I can barely move my wrist and it hurts real bad. So this is a wake up call to me. So the whole original reason why I started bodybuilding was because my body is so broken down from the years of powerlifting and I'm so beat up that I have things barely hanging on there that if I do high reps, high volume, low intensity, I might be able to hang in there and continue to bodybuild. But if I go heavy and I push the envelope with heavy loads and heavy weights, that's probably going to break me down even faster and cause things to start giving up and popping and tearing, which obviously happened. Now, it didn't happen during one of my lifts or during one of my movements. It happened to happen pulling a pin. And it's just maybe I moved my wrist wrong, or maybe it was just the angle of the wrist or whatever, but it happened. And that's a reality check for me. Like the whole reason why I got into higher volume, lighter weights is to get a good pump, a good squeeze, a good contraction without loading the weight so heavy that I'm pushing the boundary of injury. Because right now I do want to bodybuild, but the whole goal is staying injury free, looking as good as I can look, having fun in the gym and staying injury free. And when I start lifting and I start going heavier and heavier, then I start getting excited for the heavier weights. Then that makes me want to lift heavier, which makes me want to lift harder, which makes me want to lift heavier. Then something inside of me flips and I'm just like, I should start powerlifting again. Then I want to start powerlifting. So the transition from the routine I was doing to the routine that I was going to do is kind of like a mutt in between a powerlifting routine and bodybuilding. And eventually that, I promise you, will turn into me back to powerlifting, then trying to powerlift again. Then that'd probably lead to me getting hurt or injured. So this pop in my wrist was a reminder of like, hey, you can't do what you used to do. So whatever direction you think you're going in, pump the brakes and keep doing what you're doing because you've been feeling healthy. Your joints haven't been hurting. You've been doing great. You changed up your training for a week and now something popped in your wrist. I don't know if it's from work or from working out. I don't know what the cause of, but all I know is it was a reality check for me. Like, hey, you remember what it's like to get hurt? Yeah, let's not do that again, right?
Yeah, and it definitely sucks that, your wrist kind of had some, like, whatever the issue is with it. But, I mean, if you got to do, like, a more high volume, lower intensity training to keep from being injured, that's always the better route. Like, nobody's going for the sole purpose of, like, yeah, I'm going to work out until I get injured kind of thing. It's just not a steady, like, mindset or like a way to look at things. Like, nobody wants to go and get injured. So, like, if you have to do a different, like, routine or a setup just to make sure that doesn't happen, it's what's best for you, you know?
Yeah. And that's the thing, because like I said, like I'm a thoroughbred when it comes to things, right? I like put me down if I can't do it. Like I hate the idea of not being able to powerlift no more. I love lifting heavy. I love powerlifting. I love being under heavy loads and just straining and getting the bar to move and doing something that is just difficult. But bodybuilding is a different kind of difficult, right? Because you have to deal with a diet, you have to deal with hunger, you have to deal with high volume muscle burning. It's not just about overall strain, but it's a different kind of difficult. And I need to wrap myself around the idea of like, it's still difficult. It's just a different kind of difficult. And like what you said, like no one's trying to get hurt, right? You work out to be quote unquote healthy, right? And to stay in shape and stay fit so you don't get hurt. But then I always push the envelope because like I'm a kind of all or nothing kind of guy. Like that's been my mentality my whole life. Like it's like there's no such thing as halfway. Like it's either you're all in or you're out. And like whenever I start getting into something, I start getting into it. And then, like I said, whenever I start lifting weights, my mind clicks over to like, well, how much weight can you lift? How much can you put on the bar? How much can you do? All right, well, let's push a little bit further. Pop. Oh, no.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, I'm not really looking to be injuring myself or anything like that either. So if going back to what we were doing originally is going to be the better thing in the long run, that's fine. I've never really had like a lot of major injuries from working out. Then again, I haven't been doing it for as long of a period as you have consistently. So if I can stay more injury free, like my injuries come from just different things, like not regarding working out. So if I can not injure myself while working out, like that's definitely going to be my goal as well. Like I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to break myself down to where I don't feel like moving or anything like that over time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And like I said, I just feel kind of stupid, man, because like I said, like our last video, I was talking about how I want to start lifting heavier and I'm going to change the frequency from from twice a week to 3 times a week. And in my mind, this is a transition for me to kind of get back to lifting heavy, kind of like powerlifting, to feel like I'm kind of powerlifting again. I was going to start chasing my numbers and doing my logbooks and start jotting everything down for my numbers and my progression, everything like that. But I have to find another way to obtain my goal without causing injury like I did from powerlifting. So it's like, it's a different goal. It's a different mindset. Powerlifting and bodybuilding, it involves lifting weights, but it's not the same thing, right? It's both weightlifting, but with a different outcome and different purpose. And the whole thing of that at the end of the day is I got 3 kids. I got a full-time job, a wife. I got to stay injury free, but I want to stay healthy and I want to look good while I live my life, you know? And the main thing is just about having fun and not getting hurt. And like I said, I want to compete, but I gotta get out of that mindset of powerlifting, man. And it's such a hard hold on me, man, because I love lifting heavy weights.
Yeah, and it's always gonna be there for you, but you just gotta, like I said, you gotta listen to your body and treat it right. Do what's best for like your joints, your ligaments, tendons, all that stuff. Because in the long run, when 20 more years down the road or whatever it might be, like you want to still be out there moving around, running around, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly, and stuff like that. Because like, you know, I'm young. I'm only 36, but I've been working out since I've been 14. So from 14 to 36, how many years is that? That's 22
like
years. 22 years I've been beating the crap out my body, right? So that's a lot of wear and tear. That I've always had a construction job. I've always worked out in the field and worked construction. I've worked on my hands, whether I was working on cars, being a mechanic, or working in the field doing concrete or scaffolding or whatever. I've always had very heavy manual laborious jobs, plus with working out and powerlifting. Like my body's been through it. And like what you said, when I get older, I still want to be able to move around and do things and stuff. So I just gotta pump the brakes, man. I really gotta pump the brakes and slow down, work on my form, my technique, lightweight, hard contractions, negatives, things that aren't going to load the joint and the tendon, because it's the tendons and the ligaments right now that are my biggest issue and stuff like that. You know, because how my pec separated from the tendon. So I just need to, you know, be careful with it and everything. So I hate to retract what I said, but it's for the best. It happened to my wrist, and hopefully it's minor and it heals up quick, and it didn't happen to my knee or my hamstring, or I ripped the quad off the knee or something like that, you know. So this is very minor, and I'm going to try to do everything I can to keep it from holding me back and stopping me from making my progress. I'm going to try to continue to push forward with my progress, and I'm going to work around this until it heals up enough so I can actually get back to what I was doing before this little incident.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but that's going to be it for me, man. You got anything else?
No, sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for watching, and you know, just keep at it. Things happen. You could get discouraged, and it could be very unmotivating. Just like last night, for instance, I want to talk about this. Like, as soon as I hurt my wrist, I went in the house. I went to the pantry. I started looking at all my kids' snacks and goodies and ice cream, and I was telling my wife, like, I want sushi. I want Chinese food. I want sausage. I want burgers. I want okra. Like, I started like naming all these foods and these comfort foods because I wanted to feel some type of, like, I don't know, happiness, relief, a sensation, some type of like a break. I don't really know how to say it, but and then I quickly got out of that. I was like, hey, dum-dum, you eating bad and going back on your diet and gaining fat and getting further from your goal isn't going to make you feel better. It's just going to make you feel worse. So knock it off. Remember, I mean, no agony, no bragging. This is part of it. Just because you get hurt doesn't mean that you stop. You find a way to keep working around it.
Yep.
But all right, guys, thanks for watching, and that's it for this one.
Yep. Catch you later.